Шановні учасники, доброго вечора, кому доброго ранку, кому доброго дня. Зачекаємо пару хвилин представника навчального закладу, щоб він до нас доєднався. Раді вас вітати. Дякуємо за те, що доєднуєтесь до нашої виставки. Поки чекаємо нашого представника, хочу нагадати, завтра, в другий день виставки, о 20:00 буде виділений спеціальний час, бо ми не встигаємо зовсім відповідати на ваші питання. Дуже багато інформації, але завтра годину виділимо саме на відповіді на ваші запитання, тому доєднуйтесь, будь ласка. Hi.
How are you doing?
Thank you. Well, and you?
Yeah, doing good, yes.
It's very good. 1 minute. Олюшка?
Yes, I am ready. We're ready? Hello, Sarab. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Шановні друзі, вітаємо всіх на першому дні нашої онлайн-виставки. І зараз ми поговоримо з представником NorQuest College, який покаже нам і розкаже нам про унікальні програми, які є в цьому коледжі. Він знаходиться в провінції Альберта. Surab, you can go ahead. We are so excited to have you join us today.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm just going to pull up my slides here and then we'll go ahead. And before that, I just want to introduce myself. So as I've been already mentioned, my name is Surab. I'm the manager for international recruitment and student services here at NorQuest College. So I'm joining from Edmonton. That's exactly where we are located. And I'm just going to share my screen and hopefully you can see my slides. Okay, I
Шановні
think
друзі, чи всі можуть бачити слайди?
Так, видно.
Так, чудово.
okay. Okay, looks like you can see that. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't speak Ukrainian, but I hope you can all understand me in English. And I have the team here who's going to assist me if there needs any translation. So again, the title you can see here of the slide is Study, Work, and Settle in Alberta. And in Edmonton, especially because Edmonton is the capital city of the province of Alberta. And again, in this slide, I'm just highlighting here that we are one of the most affordable city in Canada. And again, this is one of the attractions of Edmonton City because, you know, things are getting a little bit expensive here in Canada. So students are looking for options to go to those cities which are more affordable as compared to some other cities. So that's why I'm highlighting it. There are many other benefits to come to study in Alberta and Edmonton, which I'll definitely share as we go through the slides. But one thing I just want to mention is the affordability advantage of Alberta. Now, this is the picture of our downtown. And the reason I'm showing you the picture of downtown Edmonton is because our campus is located in downtown. So downtown in most of the North American cities are pretty much in the center of the city and the whole city is built around it. And that's very similar here in Edmonton, like the downtown is in the center and the whole city is built around it. So it doesn't matter which part of the city you're living, you know, it takes roughly that much time. It takes roughly like 30 to 40 minutes to come to downtown. Now commuting in Edmonton is, you know, is very accessible. We have a train system, which is called the LRT Light Rail Transit. And that train come to downtown from different parts of Edmonton. We also have a bus service, which comes also different parts of the Edmonton. Now Edmonton has grown a lot. It's a big city because in Canada, we have mainly 6 big cities. Which have more than 1 million population, and Edmonton is one of them. Edmonton and its surrounding areas has roughly around 1.5 million population. So from a Canadian standard, that's a pretty big city. It's spread out in roughly 80 kilometers area from one part to the other. And again, because we are located in the center, so it's pretty much, you know, you're going to the center of that city. And
Surab,
it's very
I apologize for interrupting. I have to do the translation for the people
Sure.
who don't understand everything you're saying. Шановні друзі, пан Сураб розказував нам про локацію коледжу. Коледж знаходиться в місті Едмонтон, який знаходиться в провінції Альберта. Це одне із найбільших міст в Альберті, і кампус коледжу знаходиться в даунтауні, тобто в самому центрі міста. Як ви знаєте, більшість міст в Канаді, даунтаун – це прямо сама центральна частина міста, і потім воно розросталося навколо центру. Едмонтон – одне із найбільших міст в Канаді, 6-те по розміру провінції, по всіх провінціях, перепрошую. Там зараз знаходиться більше, ніж 1 мільйон людей населення. You can go ahead, Surab. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for translating. I appreciate that. So yeah, and also I think just few things to add on Edmonton. So Edmonton is very multicultural. 40% of the population of the city is immigrants, like people like me, probably you can say, who are not born in Canada but now are Canadian citizens. We have a very huge Ukrainian community here in Edmonton. So when you come here to study in Edmonton, you'll find a lot of fellow Ukrainians. And also we have an international airport, so it's very well connected to the world. We have flights to all major cities in US, all major cities in Canada. And again, we do have flights to certain destinations in Europe, mostly Amsterdam, London. But again, they're very limited going to Europe. So when you're flying here, maybe you have to transit through Toronto, or maybe if you fly to Amsterdam, take KLM, you can come directly to Edmonton as well. So it's very well connected in that way. Okay.
Для того, щоб показати, наскільки велике місто Едмонтон, Сураб казав, що в ньому навіть є інтернаціональний аеропорт. Звичайно, не всі перельоти можна робити одразу з Європи, але більшість летить одразу в Едмонтон. Дуже велика популяція українців також в цьому місті. Одна із найбільших діаспор в Канаді знаходиться саме в Едмонтоні.
Okay, thank you. Okay, going to the next slide. So I think this is a very common question student asks, like, why should I choose Edmonton? What is the benefit of coming to Edmonton? What are the benefit of coming to Alberta? So right now, Alberta is very attractive, not only for international students, but a lot of Canadians. So a recent stat showed that more than 100,000 people moved to Alberta from Ontario and BC. And there is a lot of inter-provincial migration happening. And a lot of these people are Canadians who've been living in those provinces for many years. And some of them are newcomers, like new immigrants who came to those provinces and moved here. Now, why are they moving? What are the attraction of Alberta? One of the big attraction, which I mentioned in the start, is affordability. So things are becoming expensive in major cities in Canada, whereas the incomes are not going up that much. So income to debt ratio is going pretty high. It's getting very expensive to live in those cities, but your incomes are pretty much steady. So the income to debt ratio is getting a little bit skewed. Now in Edmonton, because as I mentioned before, Edmonton is one of the most affordable city. And there was a survey done by a company called rental.ca recently. They surveyed around 37 cities in Canada to see where the cost of rent was the lowest and the highest. So of course, Vancouver was on the top to be one of the most expensive cities in Canada. And Edmonton was number 35 out of the 37 cities. So it was pretty much at the bottom, and it was one of the very affordable cities. Just to give you an idea in numbers, like a 1-bedroom apartment in downtown Edmonton, you can practically rent anywhere from $800 to $950. And if you tell that to someone who's living in Vancouver and Toronto, they'll say, really? Is that possible? Yes, it's really possible right now in Edmonton. And if you're looking for a 2-bedroom, it may cross $1,000, go to $1,100. If you're looking for a townhouse to rent for your whole family, it may cost you $1,200 to $1,300. And if you're going to rent a full house, it's going to cost you $1,400 to $1,500. So that's why you see that range from $700 to $1,500. Whereas on the contrary, in a downtown in Toronto, Vancouver, you may not rent anything lower than even a 1-bedroom, lower than $2,500, $2,600. That's an average cost in those cities. So that's one big advantage is affordability. And then also taxes. So anything you buy here in Canada, you have to give sales tax. Oh, sorry. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. You want to translate that? Yeah,
I have
please,
to translate in pieces.
Yes.
Thank you. Одна із найпривабливіших частин Едмонтону – це ціна за проживання. Як казав нам наш гость про те, що більше ніж 100 тисяч людей за останні декілька років переїхали в Едмонтон. Чому? Саме тому, що там зараз проживання є найпривабливішим. Як ми знаємо, в великих містах, як Ванкувер і Торонто, ціна на проживання виростає, а зарплати остаються такі самі. Саме тому Едмонтон є дуже привабливим для багатьох іммігрантів і навіть людей, які вже давно проживають в Канаді. Як ви бачите зі статистики, яка показана на екрані, приблизно $700 ви можете розраховувати на однобедрумну квартиру, що є в порівнянні з іншими провінціями, як ми також бачимо на екрані. В Ванкувері, наприклад, це буде 1000 до 2000, і в Торонто така сама квартира буде 1300-3000. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. And so apart from cost of living being low here in Edmonton, the taxes are also low. So because anytime when you're buying anything in Canada, whether you're buying a food, whether you're buying a car, laptop, house, everything, you have to pay something called sales tax. So sales tax here in Alberta is only 5% because we do not have any provincial sale tax. So the province do not charge any tax. Whereas in other provinces, as you can see here, it's more than double, like 12, 13%. If you go to Atlantic Canada, you probably around 16 to 17%. So this is a very big advantage because when you're buying stuff, things are cheaper here because of low taxes. And I think a lot of times students ask like why there's less taxes in Alberta. And the main reason is it's a rich province. Why? Because Alberta produces oil and gas. The 90% of Canada's oil is in Alberta. 60 to 70% of natural gas is here. Alberta also produces uranium, which is very high demand. We also produce potassium, which is very high demand in fertilizers and everything. So it has a lot of natural resources, which Alberta, exports and leverage. And based on that, then they are able to give these tax waivers to their resident. So it's a huge, huge advantage. So because of these two things, low cost of living and low taxes, Alberta is considered one of the most affordable province in Canada. So no provinces come close to Alberta. And that's a very big, I would say, attraction now time because, things are getting expensive and inflation is going up. So because of that, Alberta is getting a lot of attraction right now.
Друга привабливість Альберти і Едмонтону взагалом – це податки. Як ви бачите зі статистики на екрані, в Альберті податки всього лише 5% порівняно з іншими великими містами в Канаді. Таким чином, коли ви щось купляєте в Альберті, вам виходить це дешевше, тому що ви сплачуєте лише один податок. І в Альберті немає провінційного податку, тобто той податок, як ви сплачуєте, це федеральний, тобто на всю країну. Дуже багато також імміграційних програм стосовно того, що Альберта є найбагатшою провінцією, і перші два пункти – це проживання і податки, тут найдешевші. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, and apart from the affordability advantage of Alberta, we also have great immigration programs. So if you say, okay, I want to come here and study, because I know there are a lot of Ukrainians already in country who count on different permits like QAT. So if you are one of them and you're already in Canada, you can still go through this, programs with us and then maybe apply for immigration later on through the provincial nominee program. And the Alberta Provincial Nominee Program is called AAIP, Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. So it's relatively easy to get immigration if that's what you're looking for. And also, we have a lot of employment opportunities here as well in Alberta. So Alberta is the third largest economy in Canada, and it has the highest GDP growth rate. So right now, there is a boom in the economy of Alberta. That's why a lot of people are moving here. Yeah, it's affordable, but in order to afford things, you need to have a job. So Alberta is also producing a lot of jobs and the higher GDP growth rate. So in simple language, high GDP growth rate means there are a lot of new jobs are being added. And a lot of times students ask like, what kind of jobs? So we, again, are a very diverse economy. We have a lot of jobs in wholesale, retail, healthcare, education, social work, a lot of jobs in technology. And also, our oil and gas industry is getting transformed. It's going into renewable energy. So there's a lot of jobs coming in that side as well. And then last thing I'll mention here is the income. So the minimum wage here in Alberta is pretty good. It's around $15 an hour, which is again very attractive and competitive as compared to other provinces. And people in Alberta make more money because, of course, they have low income tax here. Because people pay low income tax, their salaries are higher. So because of that, Albertans enjoy highest weekly earnings, higher family incomes. So it's overall, Alberta is a good place to live because, again, you make more money, you spend less money. There's employment opportunities. And then, of course, if you want to get permanently settled here, if you're a temporary resident, it's also a great place to come here and settle as well. So these are all, good reasons why to choose Edmonton.
Останні 3 пункти Сураб розповідав нам, що імміграційні програми в провінції Альберта є одними із найкращих. Я написала в чаті програму, про яку він тільки що нам казав. Вона є найпривабливішою для нас і найпростішою. Другий пункт привабливості Альберти – це те, що настільки багато людей і дуже багато професій, які наразі є дуже затребуваними в Канаді, а особливо в провінції Альберта. Як ви бачите за статистикою на екрані, в Онтаріо тільки 3 професії дуже популярні, в BC 2, а в Альберті, оскільки дуже багата провінція і дуже багато людей в ній проживає, всі професії є дуже затребуваними. Також, що дуже цікаво, що середня зарплата, зарплата в провінції Альберта – це $15 на годину, що є одною із найвищих по всій Канаді. Таким чином, як ми можемо проаналізувати, ми платимо за все менше в провінції Альберта, а зарплату отримуємо набагато більшу. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. And this is, again, just a picture of our downtown campus. So this is, the campus. You see 2 big buildings. Then there are 2 small buildings in front of them. And then there's 1 building in behind. So we have 5 main buildings here. And again, NorQuest is growing very fast. We do have plan to build another big building. So the small buildings that you see in front, so we're going to take it down, and then we'll have another 2 big buildings coming there as well. So that probably is going to happen in next 3 years. So again, NorQuest is a very fast growing institution. We have grown by 20-30% in last 2-3 years. And currently we have roughly around 17,000 students who are studying with us. And out of these 17,000 students, we have roughly 3,500 international students. So international students make roughly around 32-33% of the student population. And the remaining, of course, are domestic students, and we are very diverse in our domestic student body. So this is just to give you an idea how our campus looks like in downtown. And we are surrounded by all high rises. You can see probably in the background, all the high rises.
Кампус, як ви бачите, знаходиться в самому даунтауні, прямо в самому центрі міста. Наразі у них є 2 великих будівлі і 2 маленьких, але, як наш гость сказав, 2 маленьких будівлі будуть зноситися, щоб построїти там більше, тому що університет стає настільки популярним, що за останні 3 роки приріст студентів десь 30%. Таким чином, вони розуміють, що їм потрібно розбудовуватися і будувати більше кампусів, щоб всі бажаючі студенти, які хочуть у них навчатися, могли мати таку можливість. Дякую. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to go to the next slide. So just a little bit about history of NorQuest quickly. So NorQuest is a public funded community college. So we are a government college. We've been established since 1965. So in 2025, we will be 60 years old. We are one of the largest public funded community college in Alberta. We are serving around 16,000 plus students. We're getting close to 17,000 now. And we are very diverse. So we have students from more than 100 countries. We have more than 70 languages spoken on campus. We do have some Ukrainian students already studying with us. Some are, Kuwait study visa student, because a lot of the Ukrainian students who were coming to us and studying with us are mostly learning English. So we have one of the largest link program. And if you are a COAT on a COAT visa, you can come and study link program as well within the college. And I think that's probably free for Ukrainian students, same as refugees and others categories. So we have a lot of Ukrainian students in that. We do not have many post-secondary Ukrainian students right now, and that's what we would love to have. And again, I'll tell you a little bit about the admission requirement because we've seen some of the challenges of Ukrainian students. Sometimes it's the language. So we'll go through the IELTS, Duolingo, and all those kind of scores and see how you can meet those admission requirements and get into our programs.
Як ви бачите на екрані, NorQuest College – це є, перепрошую за російську, государственним навчальним закладом. Він був заснований в 1965 році. Тобто ми розуміємо, що історія цього коледжу не найновіша. Наразі у них більше ніж 16 тисяч студентів навчається в коледжі. Студенти із більше ніж 102 країн, які розмовляють на 77 мовах. У них також вже є українські студенти, особливо студенти, які приїхали по візі Q8. Сураб каже, що у них наразі не є так багато студентів на мастер і на вищі програми, але вони б хотіли запросити до себе і таких студентів також. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. And again, I think this is another important slide because a lot of times students ask, like, what is so special about NorQuest College? I think one thing I want to mention, that we are a community college. So we are a little bit different than university because sometimes students get confused because there are three kind of institutions: polytechnic, university, and community college. So universities mainly offer master's, bachelor's, PhD. Polytechnics mostly offer technical programs, technology programs. They do have some bachelors, and community colleges mostly offer short programs, 1 year or 2 year. But the good thing of studying in community college is all our programs are aligned with labor market needs. We only offer those programs where there is a high chance of getting a job. So we call our programs workforce relevant programs. And again, we stop offering a program if we see that students are not able to find job. Like majority of the students are not able to find job, then we even discontinue the program, which sometimes does not happen in other institution. Now, how students are able to find job after studying our program? What's the magic? So the magic is, first, we do a lot of research. We only offer those programs where there is job. We do a lot of consultation with the companies. We also have applied learning. We have practicums in each and every program. We call it work integrated learning because you are learning by doing. Because, by bookish knowledge, you cannot find a job. We make sure while you're in the college, you get some practical experience. We have practicum, co-op, clinical placement, by which you're building your Canadian experience. You're doing networking with the Canadian employers. And then also there's a lot of support that is provided by the college. We have career support. We do career fairs. We assist you, in job searching techniques and those kind of things. We have mentorship opportunities and all those kind of things. And we also have our program advisory committees, which are basically companies, local companies who tell us how should we teach, what should we teach to our students so they can find job. So there's a lot of collaboration between college and the companies outside, which helps students to find job. And just one thing I want to highlight before I end is that the graduation employment rate of our students is around 95%. So 95% of our students are able to find job within 6 to 9 months of graduation. And the main reason is because, NorQuest do not focus on quantity. So we are not saying we have more than 100 programs. No, we only have 25 to 30 programs, but those programs are in-demand programs.
Що є найпривабливішим в цьому коледжі, на мою думку, це те, що всі програми, які запропоновані тут, це всі програми сфокусовані на те, щоб ви після них знайшли роботу. Як казав наш гость, 95% людей, які завершують коледж, знаходять потім роботу в тій сфері, в якій вони навчалися, що є дуже привабливим. Оскільки, як ви знаєте, можливо, в інших коледжах рейт того, що люди знаходять роботу після завершення, не такий високий. Дуже важливо, що вони дуже часто розглядають свої програми і дивляться, після яких програм у студентів є найкращі шанси, щоб отримати роботу. Ті програми, які працюють, і ті програми, які сфокусовані на отримання роботи саме в тих сферах, які наразі є затребуваними в провінції, ті програми залишаються. Ті програми, після яких студенти менше шансів отримати роботу, або за останньою статистикою вони просто не отримували роботу в тих сферах, ті програми або скасовуються повністю, або переробляються. Що дуже важливо, що коледж співпрацює з роботодавцями в провінції, і особливо в місті Едмонтон, щоб інтегрувати те, що хоче роботодавець від студента, і те, про що студенти саме вивчають в університеті. Дуже важливо, коли співпадає те, що хоче роботодавець, і те, чому ж дійсно студенти навчаються в університеті. Таким чином, вони виходять з університету і одразу отримують роботу в тій сфері, в якій вони навчалися. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move to the next slide. I'm going to skip this slide. I'm going here. So I think you must be wondering what kind of programs we offer. So I'll very quickly go through it because just keeping the time in mind, because we don't have that much time. So I'm going to go through very quickly. So we offer programs in all different fields. We offer programs in business. We have 2-year business diploma. We have 1-year administrative professional, accounting technician. We have some professional certificates for those students who already done a degree or diploma from their home country and want to do something very professional, which have practical experience. So we have programs like supply chain, if you want to become supply chain management professional. We have business analysis if you want to become a business analyst. If you want to work in hospitality, we have programs like food and beverage. And these 1-year professional certificate programs have like 9 months in class and then 3 months internship. And same thing with business, we also have internship options. In accounting, if you want to become a bookkeeper, yeah, you can do that program. And then if you want to work on a front office work, then we have administrative professionals. So these are all great programs. Then in technology, because our program is very energy focused, so we have programs in environmental science, like environmental technician. So we have programs like environmental technician. So if you're a person who has done a science degree, who want to work in science field and especially technical skills on groundwork, then you can definitely do an environmental technician program. This program has a field school. So we are actually taking students out in a field. They're working as environmental technicians, so they're getting hands-on training. And we also have 4 months paid internship in this program. Then we have energy management, very new program. If you want to become energy manager, energy consultant in an oil and gas company, electrical utility company, in construction company, you can definitely become an energy manager. So we have a lot of students who have architectural background, civil engineering background, who are also coming and doing this program. And then we have information technology related program in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and data science. It's called machine learning analyst. So this program is a very futuristic program. So it's a great program as well. And if you come on community study side, we have a lot of great programs in early learning and childcare, because you may already know there's a huge shortage of childcare workers here in Canada. So there is a huge demand in that. Then we have educational assistant, because in Edmonton, we have a lot of schools. So educational assistants are also in shortage. So if you're a teacher already in your country, or if you want to go into teaching field, educational assistant is a good entry point, because the students who graduate from educational assistant work under a teacher. And last year, pretty much each and every student who graduated from educational assistant program got a job. Again, I'm not guaranteeing 100% job, but that does happen, last year. Again, there are other programs which are more focused on counseling. So if you want to go into counseling, we have child and youth care counseling diploma program. If you want to go into social work, work as a social worker, case manager, you can do a social work program. If you want to work as a frontline social worker, we have community support worker. And we have a lot of jobs here in Edmonton in social work field, because there are a lot of, unfortunately, some homeless people, a lot of indigenous people, a lot of other people, who need help. And then we have settlement studies program, which is mainly for students who want to work in settlement agencies, helping new refugees. Then we have disability studies. That's another program. If you want to work with people with special needs. Criminal justice is another program if you want to build a career in criminal justice. And then we have 2 programs in rehab if you want to go and work in rehabilitation sector, in addiction recovery, mental health recovery. These are post-diploma programs. And then health is very, very high demand because there's a huge shortage of health workers also in Canada. So we have a lot of jobs as a healthcare aid worker. It's a 1-year program. Healthcare leadership is more into learning about management of healthcare. And then we have programs in therapy. If you want to become occupational therapy, physiotherapy, recreation, then you can do interdisciplinary. If you want to go into recreation therapy, then that's another program. We have a program in pharmacy technician. You can become a licensed pharmacy technician. We have practical nursing program, after doing which you can become a practical license, practical nurse. And then for those students who've already done a diploma or degree in health science from overseas, could be a doctor, could be a nurse, could be a pharmacist, whatever, you can definitely go do this program called Practical Nursing Diploma for Internationally Educated Nurses. Right now, there's a huge shortage in Alberta. So there are a lot of job opportunities in Alberta in nursing. And in the foundation program, again, the bridging program we used to have, we are not offering it now for fall, but we have ESL program and then the link program. So if you are a QAT student, you can still come and visit our campus or call us, and you can get more information about the link program. There's funding available for students who are on a QAT visa, and they can start in the link if they do not know English at all. If you know English, then maybe you can explore ESL, but you have to pay tuition fee. Right now, we were offering Ukrainian students domestic tuition fee in winter and spring intake, but for fall, we just still have to make a decision. So we have not formally announced it, but we are more inclined on going in that direction, but we have not formally announced it. So we will let you know when that happens. And then we will tell our partner here who are a host, and they can probably share that information. And we also have academic upgrading also. In case if a student has not done some high school, you didn't complete your high school back in your country, and you want to do some high school courses before you enter the program, we also have academic upgrading program. So there's a lot of programs here. And just one last thing I'll mention is all the programs here have practicums. So we have practical training in all the programs. So you're not just getting bookish knowledge, just sitting in class. No, you're actually going and working in this field. But a lot of our practicums are unpaid. You may not get paid, but you're getting experience, which is very, very valuable. But we do have some paid internships also.
Thank you. Як ви бачите, шановні друзі, дуже багато факультетів в NorQuest College. Вони найважливіші, які зараз найбільш затребувані, особливо в провінції Альберта. У нас є бізнес, технології, у нас є соціальні знання, і у нас є медичний факультет. Як ви бачите, всі програми, які підписані під кожним факультетом, це ті програми, які дійсно найважливіші зараз в провінції Альберта і по всій Канаді. Як ми знаємо, особливо медиків в Канаді не вистачає. Медиків, психологів, вчителів дуже не вистачає. В кожній програмі, яка показана на екрані, в них всіх є практика, що є дуже важливо. Тобто ви не просто вивчаєте свою програму через підручник, а ви також маєте практику, що є найважливішим. Протягом практики ви вивчаєте дійсно ті скіли і ті навички, які вам потрібні будуть потім, коли ви виходите на роботу. Деякі практикуми оплачуваємі, а деякі безкоштовні, залежить від вашої програми. Але що ви отримаєте найважливіше, це, перепрошую за російську, опит, що, звичайно, коштує більше, ніж ваша потенційна зарплата. Також, що дуже важливо, що в цьому коледжі наразі вони пропонують нам ESL, і також пропонують нам спеціальну лінк-програму, про яку ми розкажемо вам далі. Обидві програми спеціально для тих студентів, у яких англійська не на тому рівні, на якому потрібно, щоб зайти повністю на свою програму в університеті. І, як ви знаєте, дуже найкраща новина – це те, що на зиму І на весну у нас ще є domestic tuition для всіх українців, які заїхали в Канаду по спеціальній програмі. Стосовно осені, як наш гість тільки що сказав, вони ще не уточнили, але вони склоняються до того, щоб також мати можливість надати нам domestic tuition на осінь 2024. Як тільки вони уточнять цю інформацію, ми будемо перші, хто буде знати про це. І ми поширимо цю інформацію в наших соціальних мережах. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's a lot of translation, so thank you for that. Okay, I think this is just a very quick slide. Just want to mention, because a lot of times students ask us which is the most popular program among international students. Some of the programs are mentioned here, like business, early learning, healthcare aid, nursing, mental health, professional certificate program. A lot of our STEM programs are very popular because, as I mentioned, Alberta is moving toward innovation and technology. We also have some university transfer program. If some students say, I want to do a bachelor's in arts and science with one of the top universities in Canada, so they can start with us in arts and science diploma, and then afterwards they can move into the third year into University of Alberta, which is among the top 5 universities in Canada. So we have partnership with them. We are also coming up with very soon an engineering program. It's going to be called Engineering Foundation Certificate. Students will study 1 year with us in foundation. And if they get 2.3 GPA, they'll get a guaranteed seat in the engineering program in University of Alberta in the second year. And University of Alberta is among the top 2 schools in Canada. Number 1 is University of Toronto. Number 2 is University of Alberta in engineering studies. So you'll be studying in the top-notch engineering program as well. So we're coming with those kind of program in which you can start with us. And again, the benefit of starting with us is our admission is not competitive. Because in universities, they do a merit-based admission. Like if you apply to a university directly, if you have 92%, somebody has 93%, they'll get admission first. And you will not get it. Whereas at the college, it's first come, first serve. Who applies first, get the admission in. You start here, and then you eventually move into university as a transfer student. So that's another great option for you. So yeah, we have a lot of those university transfer options coming with the University of Alberta, which is again one of the very prestigious universities here in Canada, among the top 5. It's usually rank 3, rank 4, rank 5. In these like 3 ranks, it pretty much goes in. And then of course we have ESL program, as I already mentioned. And then there are link programs also for QAT students, if they want to do that as well. So this is just a quick overlook of these programs.
Просто найпопулярніші програми зараз показані вам на екрані, на які зазвичай заходять інтернаціональні студенти. Також коледж є партнером університету Альберти. Ми завершуємо 2 роки в коледжі, і потім нас автоматично, якщо ми хочемо, переводять на 3-й рік в університеті Альберти. Університет Альберти є топ-5 по всій Канаді. Один із найкращих університетів, в якому ви можете придбати своє навчання. Що є цікавим, що вони будуть запроваджувати нову інженерну програму, яка буде дуже популярною, оскільки провінція Альберти зараз зосереджена на енергії та побудові нових варіантів, як здобувати енергію не тільки в Альберті, але й по всій Канаді. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move next. I'm going to skip these slides and I'm going to jump directly to this program here. This slide, I mean to say. So again, for you to get into our programs, you definitely have to give an English language exam. And I know this could be sometimes challenging. Again, we do not have the bridging program now going forward from fall. So disregard this slide here. So only thing is here. So if, for example, you want to get into our programs, I would say the cheapest option is Duolingo. So a lot of students write Duolingo exam. For our business program, we only need 105 Duolingo. IELTS score of 6 with no band less than 5.5 if you're writing IELTS. For a majority of our technology, health programs, humanity programs, we need a Duolingo score of 115 or IELTS score of 6.5 with no band less than 6. And then for nursing program, we need a very high IELTS and TOEFL. And we do not accept Duolingo. Now, how to get into this program if you do not meet this requirement? So you will have to start in the ESL. So if, for example, you cannot get the score that we require, but for our ESL program, we only accept IELTS and TOEFL. So either you have to write a TOEFL exam or you have to write an IELTS exam. Now in TOEFL, there is something called home edition test. So which means that you can write a TOEFL IBT, internet-based test home edition, sitting in your home. So you can write that exam if that is what is convenient for you. And if you write that exam and you get a score that we need for ESL, based on that score, you can get pre-placed in our ESL program. You can start with our ESL program, and then you can eventually move into the main program later on. We do have a conditional offer letter options. Once you are closer to the intake, when you're getting into the program, you can apply for it. So you can reserve the seat. So those options are there. We are also, looking at some other private language schools we can partner. We do not have partnership right now, but I'll share again if in the future that becomes availability. But this is our language score, and I know it's a challenge. We have few applications that came from our partner, and there was a challenge. They could not meet the language requirement. So I would say, if you cannot get into this program and you want to go into the ESL, because in ESL, we do not accept Duolingo score. So it's better to write IELTS or TOEFL. And once you write a TOEFL, maybe TOEFL is better because you can write from home edition. If you get the score that we require, you go directly into the program. If you do not get that score that you need to go into the program, then you go into the ESL program based on that TOEFL score. So that is the way you can get in if you do not meet our admission requirement.
Що дуже важливо знати про те, на якому рівні повинна бути ваша англійська. Як ви бачите, якщо ми заходимо прямо на програми в пункті E і F, ми можемо здавати і IELTS, і TOEFL, і Duolingo. Якщо ми показуємо достатній бал, тоді ми просто заходимо прямиком на програму. Але якщо у нас бал, наприклад, Duolingo недостатній, тоді для того, щоб зайти на програму ESL, дуже важливо, що ви здаєте або TOEFL, або IELTS. Це обов'язково. Як наш гість тільки що сказав, TOEFL варіант є зараз, щоб здавати із дому. Тому я дуже заохочую вас, шановні друзі, якщо ви хочете зайти в NorQuest College, спробуйте здати TOEFL або IELTS, тому що тоді у вас буде більше шансів або потрапити одразу на програму, або зайти на ESL без здачі 2 тестів. Як ви бачите, дуже важливо, якщо ви заходите на медицину, нам потрібно або IELTS, або TOEFL. Duolingo варіанту немає. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to quickly go through a few more slides before we get into the questions, because I know we are running out of time. I'm going to skip this slide. I'm going to go to the admission. Again, admission, it's pretty much, I already went through that we require English language requirement, we require academic requirement. So when we look at academic requirement for our diploma programs, we usually look at your high school. And I know a lot of Ukrainian students have done already those courses like English, Ukrainian, maths, chemistry, biology. I know you guys have already done that. And some of our post-diploma, we are only looking for degree and diploma. And I think a lot of our students, Ukrainian students, do meet academic requirement. The main challenge it comes is the English language proficiency requirement. And I think that's where probably students need to do and work. And then maybe they can write, as I mentioned before, like TOEFL score. And then if they get into the program, that's great. If not, then based on that TOEFL score, they can get into the ESL program. So there could be some pathways there. So I think that is the main challenge. And again, if you do not meet our academic requirement, there is an option available. So for example, if you apply to nursing and you do not meet our biology, you can write an online exam. So that option is also available there. Whereas in the English language, you have to write that test. Unfortunately, we do not have our own English language exam. So that's why it becomes a little bit tricky in that. If you want to quickly mention it, and then we'll go to the last slide where we'll mention about scholarship options. And then we'll close it for the questions.
Дуже важливо, що вони розглядають нас на базі нашого 12 класу. І як наш гість тільки що сказав, у них є своє тестування для таких предметів, як біологія і математика, але, на жаль, для англійської мови у них немає. Тому дуже важливо, що ви перед своєю подачею здасте TOEFL або IELTS. Як ми розмовляли до цього, якщо вашого балу недостатньо, тоді з цим результатом вас одразу можуть зарахувати на підвищення англійського рівня. Якщо ви здасте просто Duolingo, тоді вам доведеться його перездавати, якщо балів у вас недостатньо, для того, щоб зайти на англомовні курси. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, again, I'm going to skip this because these are the list of the countries which are exempt from English language requirement. And of course, Ukraine is not there, so it does not matter. So I'm going to skip that. Again, application process, I'm going to skip it because our host is here. And I would highly recommend to connect with them if you want any guidance from them regarding the application process. And they have processed few applications. So they know the process and then they can guide you further on it. So I'm going to skip it again, keeping the time in mind. And these are our application deadlines. Again, I'll probably not go too much into it. Again, connect with our host here and they can tell you about the application deadlines. They can tell you about the application process. So all those things they can cover. Again, scholarships are there, but these are only for students who are paying international tuition fee. But again, if we announce again for fall that domestic students, the Ukrainian students are going to pay domestic tuition fee, then we have other kind of scholarships. We do have some scholarship even for domestic students or people who are paying domestic fee. Then you can apply for that scholarship. But again, if you're paying international tuition fee, then you are able to avail these scholarships as well. But again, this is just some information again that are available. And then, yeah, we have this information about immigration program. Again, I'll not go too much into detail. And again, you can look yourself about Alberta Advantage Immigration Program, but it's relatively easier to get immigration here in Alberta. Of course, it's not guaranteed that you'll get it. But again, the options are there and they are easy pathways here. So you can totally look at yourself. We can transition to question. One last thing I'll mention, yeah, please do follow us on Instagram if you want to know more about us. And our Instagram page is NorQuest International. So you can go there and we have a lot of great stories here about our student experience and whatever things we are doing with the students. So you can go and follow us there. Okay. If you want to briefly translate what I mentioned, I know there's a lot of information and then we can probably move toward questions. Yeah.
Thank you. Наш гість захоче всіх звернутися до нас, якщо ви хочете більше деталей на процес аплікаційних форм і на процес подачі в університет. Ми працюємо з NorQuest College вже багато років і знаємо всі деталі аплікаційних форм і як правильно підготувати ваші документи. Дуже важливо також, що у них є сколаршипи, це знижки, це як на конкурсній основі вам надаються кошти на ваше навчання. Як він казав, вони ще не впевнені, чи будуть вони надавати нам domestic tuition на осінь, але не хвилюйтеся. У них є ці спеціальні програми, на які ви можете податися, щоб ціна вашого навчання була набагато дешевше. Також, якщо ви хочете більше інформації про життя студентів, будь ласка, доєднуйтеся до соціальної мережі NorQuest College International в Інстаграмі і дивіться їх історії, які вони викладають щоденно. Зараз ми готові до питань, які є у наших учасників. І перше питання, я бачу, пані Софія задала, яка вартість навчання. Surab, can you please tell us what is the price of tuition?
Yeah, so for, again, it varies. I would say I'll tell both. So for domestic tuition fee, it varies anywhere from 7,000 Canadian dollars per year to around 13,000 per year. It varies from program to program. Now, for international tuition fee, it varies anywhere from 17,000 to 22,000. So right now for winter and spring, as I mentioned, any Ukrainian student is going to start in our ESL program because we still have seats available for the ESL program. We still have seats available for business program in the winter intake. So if anyone who meets the admission requirement wants to get into business program for winter, yeah, they'll be paying domestic tuition fee, which is anywhere from 7,000 to 12,000. For business, I think it's roughly around 9,000 for 1 year. And again, if they are going to start in ESL, same thing, they pay domestic. But if again, for fall, as we have not formally announced, I'm assuming for now I can mention the international one. So that's between 17 to 22 per year. And again, students pay semester by semester. So they don't have to pay this tuition fee for 1 year in one go. And they pay term by term. So that is something just to keep in mind. So this is just a rough idea of the tuition fee. So yeah, there's definitely an advantage that right now for winter and spring, we are offering domestic tuition fee for Ukrainian students. And again, for fall, yeah, I'll let you know later on once you make a decision by December.
Thank you, thank you. Як наш гість тільки що сказав, якщо ми заходимо ще на зиму 2024 і на весну, нам гарантована знижена ціна 7 тисяч-13 тисяч, в залежності від того, на яку програму ви заходите. Якщо ми заходимо на осінь 2024, як він вже казав, ще вони не впевнені, чи можуть вони нам надати знижену вартість чи ні, але ціна для інтернаціональних студентів, звичайно, в залежності від програми, десь 17-21 тисяча за рік. Дуже важливо мати на увазі, що вам не потрібно платити за весь рік за перший раз. Ви платите посеместрово. Тобто ваша ціна кожен семестр буде залежати від того, скільки класів ви берете і на яку програму ви зайшли. Вони зможуть нам сказати, чи одобрюють вони більш дешеву вартість для нас десь в грудні. Як тільки ми дізнаємося цю інформацію, ми одразу поділимося з вами в наших соцмережах. Чи є якісь ще питання, шановні друзі, до нашого гостя, до представника NorQuest College?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, we are open for any questions. If you have any questions, yeah, please go ahead, yeah.
Шановні друзі, будь ласка, задавайте питання, не соромтесь. Thank you so much, Surab, for taking the time to do your presentation. We really appreciate it. And we truly very much appreciate you supporting Ukraine and Ukrainian community.
Okay, well, no worries. Thank you. Yes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Пані Олена.
Є питання, подивись, будь ласка, в чаті.
Є питання, ага. Питання в чаті. Чи є онлайн-навчання для тих, хто проживає в інших провінціях? Surab, question. Do you have online education for people who are living in other provinces, or do they have to live in Alberta?
No, they can start. I think in a lot of our programs, there are few programs you can do online. All like the 100% program you can do online. There are certain programs. And again, there is a link. Let me find that link and I'll share that with everyone where you can see like which programs are available online. And for few programs, you could start online, but you have to eventually move to Edmonton. You know, some of these programs, let me just share the link here in the chat. And I think this will give a good idea about that. Oh, sorry. I think I'm looking for chat. Okay, no, I got the chat. Okay. Thought I lost
зараз
it.
поділиться з нами посиланням, де ви можете подивитися, чи є програма онлайн, чи немає. Як він казав нам до цього, всі програми є з практичним аспектом. Тому я б вам дуже рекомендувала, якщо ви розглядаєте деякі програми, зверніть увагу на те, який там практичний аспект, і на 2 роки переїдьте в Едмонтон, отримайте своє навчання, і тоді їдьте і працюйте, де вам краще.
Okay. So you can see here some program which we offer online. So it says here we offer a variety of online programs. You can see academic upgrading, advanced. We also have programs like healthcare aid, which is very high demand. Interdisciplinary therapy assistant is online. Practical nursing is online. Therapeutic recreation is online. So these are some of the really great, I would say, health programs. So a lot of these health programs are online. We even have a link program, which is online if you want to improve your English. So some of these programs are available online. Again, I've shared the link in the chat, but you can definitely go and see. So for these programs, yes, you do not have to move, you know, and leave any other province if you're here, but I would still welcome anybody to move to Alberta it's a great place to live. So anyways, if you don't want to move, yeah, you can still have the option of these online programs.
Наш гість поділився з нами посиланням в чаті з усіма програмами, які є в коледжі онлайн. Тобто для цих програм вам не потрібно нікуди їдете, ви можете залишатися там, де ви вже живете. Наступне питання. У нас розкажіть про отримання піар після коледжу.
2 хвилини маємо. Лише 2 хвилини маємо. Тому, будь ласка, запитання, якщо можна, на завтра, на 20-ту годину за Києвом ми будемо відповідати на всі ваші питання стосовно розширення інженерних програм. У нас буде ця інформація, ми обов'язково поділимося в наших соцмережах. Зверніть увагу, раніше виклала посилання на наші соцмережі, відслідковуйте, будь ласка. Стосовно остаточні, будемо так само знати від навчального закладу трошки пізніше. Пані Софія, ви спілкуєтесь зі мною в Телеграмі, я вас признала, дуже рада вас бачити на зустрічі. Буду мати інформацію, я обов'язково так само вам про неї розкажу. Про піар отримання після коледжу пані Ірина завтра о 20-й годині на загальній зустрічі відповість на всі питання. Лише 2 хвилини. Дуже велике пану Сурабу за підтримку, за те, що він приєднався до нашої онлайн-виставки і за ту дуже велика подяка за саме те, що вони роблять, їх коледж робить для наших українських студентів. Це дуже круто.